Hi guys, Leo FX Model Miniatures back again. Not done a video in a short while. Just been really busy with all sorts of things really. But just doing a bit of an update on what's going on at the moment. What I'm doing, what the plans are, and this is one of them. And it's something really different, really different for a change. And it's a collection of some of the buildings from Cloud City that I thought, obviously FX Model Miniatures, we came about initially doing some Comic-Con conventions, initially with the RPF, to be honest, me and Guy Cowan, just tagging along with the RPF and doing pretty much for the first time some studio scale filming replica displays, just collaborating all our work. Things happened at the RPF, sadly, but that's the RPF's loss. But we ended up going on some kind of a hiatus. We were still working, we were still busy building stuff, but we weren't really displaying anything. And then we started just putting the feelers out to the guys that run Comic-Con. I think it was Reed Pop at the time. But yeah, we did one display at the Birmingham NEC. We never had a name then. We were just displaying various works from myself, Guy, Phil Brown, John Simmons. Yeah, and it was really fun. It is really fun to just put displays on, and it all comes out of our pocket. We don't get paid for it. We just do it. We really enjoy it. It's really enjoyable just to see people's faces. You get a lot of people ask, "Are these the real miniatures?" And it's really flattering. It's really flattering. But of course, we have to say no. We're just really eager fanboys that just love to replicate what ILM did way back, and yeah, just absolutely groundbreaking, pioneering work. But yeah, with that in mind, with the convention thing in mind, obviously we've not had any cons for quite some time, sadly, due to what's going on in the world at the moment. And everyone's having to keep the distances, but I keep it in my head. I've had some issues myself, just health issues that don't allow me to do much outdoors these days, but I've always got it in my head that yes, I want to get back there at some point. I want to go to cons, I want to display some work, and just talk to people, educate people if I can. See the look on kids' faces that all they know is a PlayStation and CGI, and then all of a sudden they start learning about practical filming miniatures, and who knows, any one of those kids may go on to build a model one day. I'd love that. It's where I started, building little Airfix and NPC kits. But anyway, with that, I digress. With that mindset, just making pieces that are displayable for cons, I just wanted to do this as a piece, just a little scene from Cloud City. ILM built various Cloud City building miniatures. I think they were built by Mark Thorpe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys that know a lot more about the ILM background, but I think Mark Thorpe did a lot of the basic miniatures that were just basic, very rough drafts that were then used for, I believe, the matte painter to then go and create the actual pieces that were used in filming composites and whatnot. But I thought, well, I'd really like to have a go at building them, but take them to just a more prettier aesthetic level. So although the build ethic is the same with these, it's pretty rough, it's pretty hack and slash. There's nothing groundbreaking going on here. It's just some ABS tubing, some ABS sheet, more ABS tubing, ABS hemispheres, etc. there are kit parts on these, which I have been able to ID some. I mean, that's oh wow, I think it was a Yorktown or a Lexington from Revell. That's used either side of this building. This smaller building here, this is actually the one that they composited the shot with Leia in the window on Bespin, on Cloud City. And this one here, this little stumpy dumpy one, it actually has two large hull parts from the Tamiya Vosper torpedo boat. This one is it does have kit parts on it. I have ID'd them as well, and I'll get to that. But the actual build of them is not dimensionally 1-to-1 accurate on the miniatures. I'm not really interested in that. I'll never really be able to scale them to the millimeter. You know, not interested in that whatsoever. This is just a bit of fun. If you can't have fun doing this, well, you may as well not be doing it. But so this is just fun for me. I'm just knocking together some scrap parts that I've got lying around, some pieces of tubing that I've bought, and I'm having a whale of a time. But yeah, very rough at the moment. This is very embryonic. It's still very much in the I'm just roughing out the shapes phase, and yeah, just trying to get there, clean everything up, clean these seams up, get them a bit nicer, and then I want to take them into paint. And initially, I wasn't going to do any more parts research on these whatsoever. But a very, very, very nice gentleman contacted me with some really, really beautiful pictures of these, which it's actually allowed me to ID a lot more that's going on with them. There's a lot of Tamiya Mobile Wagon, there's some Brabham BT-44, there's some Hasegawa Leopold all over them. Really small, minute details, but I'm going to add them now. I'll make it a point of adding those just to take them that little bit further. And then once we're at the painting stage, that's where I'm just going to drag it out a little bit more. ILM's models were very bland. I think this one was just painted like an off-white. This one was like a grey. This one was a couple of different greys. I'm going to dress that up some. I'm going to add some other colours, add some other elements, just to really pretty up them as an arty sort of piece. And then the plan is to get them on a base once the paintwork's all finished. Obviously, I've got to finish the build work yet, and then maybe some uplighting little spot lamps aiming up. I was initially going to light the buildings, but I really can't find anywhere on them that had looked right illuminated. So I binned that idea, and I thought, no, I'm just going to paint them really elaborately. Loads of different effects in the painting, lots of masking, and then some nice little miniature uplighter spot lamps just aiming up there in a fox searchlight kind of way, just to elaborate them, just to enhance them somewhat. And hopefully they'll look a pretty piece at a convention, which is the aim. I really want to get something that's quite eye-catching and very different. A few of you that know me, I do like things extremely different. I like to be out there. I don't really enjoy doing stuff that people have done 100 times before. I like to do my own research. Researching is what I love it. I spend a lot of time doing research. I spend a lot of time IDing parts and measuring stuff. And, I'm not always right. I'm probably very rarely right, but I have fun doing it. I don't think myself anything special. I don't let ego get in the way like some. Unfortunately, ego ruins groups, ego ruins friendships. But, keep having fun, keep pressing on, ignore the idiots, and just keep it going, keep having fun. But that's about it on the Cloud City pieces. But I have started to revisit some pieces I've been working on for a while now, which is the Death Star 2 miniature. Excuse me. If I move these out of the way. Okay. I really love the Death Star 2 surface. I've always had a thing for it, and I built this one the other day. I've just actually primed it this morning. Just give it a light coat of primer. Just move this down a bit. And yeah, this is one of the towers and crane structures from the Death Star 2 surface, which is, yeah, I love it. I love the use. You've probably heard me rambling on before, but I love the use of the reds they use, the greys. These bursts of colour that look so just really attractive to me. Very eye-catching model making, and so fragile and delicate at the same time. Everything's so fragile. Just this wonderful construction element of everything. Now, what I did, I've got my original towers built. I've got one tower that's partially framework and sheets, and then I've got another tower that's complete. So the idea is to display these three together in various stages as they are on the Death Star 2 surface. This one here, it's pretty accurate. I've managed to ID some of the donor parts on it. I mean, you've got some Tamiya flak AH-52, some Hossigal Leopold. That's actually an MPC X-wing can. That's actually one of the X-wing engines there that's bonded to it. That's Canon. That's accurate. The parts where I've really had to elaborate are mainly on the crane. There's not very much in the way of reference on the cranes, so I've just winged it. At the end of the day, as I was saying, it's supposed to be fun. The crane, I can just swivel that around if I want to. It's kind of funky, kind of fun. But the crane itself is a kit part. I believe it's probably one of the larger Tamiya naval kits. Cannot find it. I'm not sure, but I was happy just scratch building it out of strip and stock, and then a couple of little pieces from the big Tamiya Bismarck. I think I used, what was that? I think that was Airfix Stuka there, the big Stuka. It's got these weird little handle things, so they resembled what I was looking at, so I just used those. I wasn't going to try reinvent the wheel on, really trying to find them. But yeah, that's your basic frame. Just shot a bit of primer on it. How I build these, I build the front fascia first. I take a template, I draw a template to the dimensions of the Jedi towers. Then I'll work this front frame. Then I'll build the basics of the rear frame, and then stitch the sides together very slowly. I used Tamiya solvent for this, the thin liquid cement. So you can't go bull at a gate in building it all at once. You have to kind of give that solvent time to really set up. So I built, the front and rear one evening, and then started stitching them together. They're very fragile. This one actually does need to go on a base. I'm going to create this one actually sits on the DS2 surface. It's on it's half on, half off one of the cast resin Death Star tiles that were repurposed from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, and then there were new ones built for Jedi, of course. Getting one of those Death Star tiles, that's a no-go. It's not cost effective. They're just silly money for an original tile. So yeah, I will probably mount this on possibly some Bandai castings, just so it's a secure piece I can actually lift up and transport to cons, because otherwise it's just too fragile to even move around. But once this is painted, and this will be painted in Archive X and it's DH Caboose Red I use for these surface pieces. Using a red oxide works, but it doesn't look quite right. There is a more purple tone to the red on the DS2 surface pieces, I feel, the reference I've adjusted and looked at. So yeah, I use DH Caboose Red, which is actually also the colour that's accurate and canon for the A-Wing miniatures. It's the correct red. You know, a lot of people mix the red for the A-Wing and always get it a mile off if you use the Archive, excuse me, if you use the Archive X D and H Caboose Red, it's the actual tone. You know, you can see it once you lay it down, you can see it, and I think it's used on these. So yeah, this will get a coat of DH Caboose Red, and I'm switching to acrylics. Thanks very much, Guy of Archive X. I'm going to be switching to the acrylics from here on, and it's kind of why I've not painted anything. I know I was going to paint the ESB Space Harrier ship in a video, but I've just I've put it to one side. I'm just waiting to switch to the acrylics because I want to yeah, get into that and use the new product. Yeah, and see how that works. Very excited about that. So yeah, once that's done in DH Caboose, you then start adding your panels, which this is just a rough cut piece of 0.5 styrene. I've got an extra notch in this here to clear these little stanchions here. I added a couple of extra stanchions there to make this thing a little bit more secure. As I said, this isn't a filming tool, it's going to be a display tool, so I don't want it falling to pieces. But yeah, then you start adding your various plating over the top. Okay, and this tower has a number of various plates that are just bonded on the outer frame that you then take and decorate with surface grey. I use Archive X surface grey. And then there's a lot of pen work and mechanical pencil work on them, which is fun to do, really fun to do. You know, they're very basic in their detailing, but it looks so effective in photography and on screen. So yeah, once all the panelling's done, that's that done. Then you know you can put that to one side and move on to something else. I mean, round this side, it was really awesome the other day. Very nice gentleman. I think it was Jim Piri maybe. Well, the guy from JBot Decals, whoever you are, he put a picture up the other day of a shot of the surface I'd never seen before, and it was actually the other side, this side of this actual tower that I'd never seen reference of, because the original reference of this tower is actually in the Japanese Star Wars Chronicles, where you see it from this front angle. But he put a picture up showing this side, and it's littered with lots of tiny plates. Now I'd have got that completely wrong, and on him posting that photo, it's been a great week for reference for me, to be honest. People sharing stuff, it's really helping me just go further with creation. But yeah, this one's littered with all sort of lots of tiny panels, so I can get this side accurate now as well. So yeah, for the most part, I can get this pretty darn close to the studio miniature piece, which is always the goal. Get them as close as we possibly can, and then yeah, once it's all done, then I'll work out a display where I can put all three towers in one on one base. I may actually build. There's another couple of cranes that are on the surface. There's one that's built from a lot of Morse Carl parts. It's almost like a four-legged oil rig looking thing. Cannot find good reference of it. I'd love to build that. But there are some smaller cranes, very low down things that are actually built from, again, the AMT X-Wing engines, which is another piece that's in the image that Jim of JBot posted up, which I was really, can't thank you enough for that. Honestly, superb. I may actually add one of those or two of those smaller cranes into the same piece, just so there's a few, just, you know, they're just little remnants of the DS2 surface that, you know, I find really interesting and attractive to look at, and you know, hopefully other people will too. You know, that DS2 surface was literally covered with all sorts of very small, fragile fabrications that probably don't exist now due to them being so fragile, unfortunately. Yeah, I've seen no other reference of these still existing. So yeah, it's just nice to pay homage to them, document them, and yeah, you know, for other people to see them, to educate other people that these things do exist. And lastly, for today, I don't know whether some of you might ask, like, well, you know, where do we look for our reference? Where do we get our reference? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the camera around because, yeah, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about that, and maybe give, if I can, just a few people some pointers on, you know, what's good, what's out there, what's good to look at. And we'll begin with, you've probably heard me mention this book, but this is the Star Wars Archives, Mark Kotavaz and Shinji Hata. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is an absolutely wonderful book. It is littered with all sorts of great studio reference. I mean, straight away we land on one of my grails, you know, a lovely shot of the probe droid. But then we've also got the Tauntauns, and that's the concept Tauntaun with the concept rider. I believe that's the one that was cast and sold recently by Regal Robot, Tom Spina. Sadly, no rider on it, but I'd love to build that rider and offer that. It looks so awesome with that guy sat on there. Absolutely superb. But yeah, this book is just littered with really beautiful photographs. You know, not all of them perfect, but there's a few in here that you kind of forget where you've seen this image, and then you realise, oh, that was the book. It's really a great book, well worth buying. So if you can pick this one up, it is good for reference. You're not going to be able to ID all sorts out of it, but it does give you some really good pointers. And the photography is really clear in it. It's really good photography in there. Another oldie, but a goodie, the Star Wars Technical Journal. Now, it's not really a reference book, you know, it's not littered with, you know, it's kind of filled with some hoopty blueprints and stuff, but there is some good imagery in it. It is a book worth having, definitely. You know, there are some good images in here, and these are all books that, you know, we were using way back before any of the better publications came out. So that's another one well worth picking up. I think you can get this one at a decent price, and the one before as well, the Archives book, you can get that at fairly good money. Sculpting a Galaxy. Yeah, not a fan of this book. I've got to be deadly honest. It promised so much, and there was such a lot missing from it. But it is worth having. There are some good images. I mean, way back when we were working on, I was originally part of the group that was IDing Slave One. This image here was gold. It was literally like we won the lottery. You know, it was awesome. Yeah, great image, and that's the the mix of this book. It's filled with amazing images, and then some really horrible images that are just not good. There's a picture of Gold Leader in there it's virtually unusable. I don't know why it was even published. And then you've heard me rant on about this one quite a few times. Now there's two of these. These the first edition of the Chronicles, which I think was initially released in Japan and then re-released. It was Deborah Fine that did the original. This is the second release of the Chronicles, which is Japanese language only, sadly. But half the time we don't want to hear the rambling, we just want to look at the pretty pictures, don't we? But honestly, this book is just, yeah, You know, a lot of the reference images in this I'd already seen, you know, via various groups and Facebook and Google, but it is nice to have them all in one place in this book. I mean, that's actually one of the mid-sized Death Star turrets there that I was just rambling on about. That's the same scale as what I'm building, same size. It's in the A New Hope section. These were never used on A New Hope, but you know, this is actually a Jedi turret, which has actually got the it's got the different gun barrels on this one. They had two different gun barrels on them for Jedi. I mean, we've got, you know, where was this many years ago when we were all IDing this thing? You know, these probe droid pods. Wonderful reference of the probe droid pods in here. Great paint reference too, to be honest. I mean, Guy Cowan's got the you know, the accurate hue to those as well, which is nice. You know, that stormy sea hue that is so coveted and lauded. But yeah, if you can pick this book up, I mean, it's even got the original Japanese reference of the ESB ATST. I mean, I saw this many years ago when we were researching this model, but it's lovely to have it in a publication rather than just stuck in your computer. You know, you can just kind of sit and while away an evening looking at amazing reference. But yeah, I'm sorry if it's a bit of a boring one today, guys. I'm just literally amassing things to paint, things to do. I have got a really cool project now that's made its way to paper. I'm actually planning that out. I really can't wait to share that with you. It is a concept Macquarie build. I'm going to get started on it first and get stuck in before I really say and announce what it is. I don't want to jinx it. Possibly offering it, that might be a possibility, but I am excited about this one. It's one of my Grail models, but this is a concept variant of it. But yeah, let me get into it. I've got a lot of fabrication to do before that, but yeah, I'm excited about that. More excited about that than I have been about a build in a while, to be honest. And that's nice to get excited about concept builds, because yeah, it's always nice to do something different and something, you know, realize something from a drawing or a painting into a, you know, the physical aspects. That's where a lot of you 3D printing guys, you know, you need to start putting your time and energy into that as well. You know, the concepts have been ignored for a long time, so it's always nice to scratch build them if possible, and then I think with 3D printing it makes some of those impossible shapes a little more possible. So yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully a more exciting one next time. But I'll see you all soon.